face. Are we really here alone? On the main street of the world, relocated from our home.
Heartbeat Alaska is made possible by the following. By Coca-Cola, serving Alaska quality soft drinks since 1937.
And by the Alaska Seafood Marketing Institute, educating consumers and promoting sales of Alaska seafood throughout the U.S. and in international markets.
Louder thunder, revolution is in the air. There's a heartbeat deep inside our mother. Are you too cool to care? You, one so clever, never speak too soon.
Hello and welcome to Heartbeat Alaska. I'm Jeannie Green. Thank you so much for joining us for Native News and Native Entertainment. Hello to Mr. Ray Giarza. He called me from Oakland, California. Thank you, Mr. Giarza, for watching Heartbeat Alaska, and welcome, Oakland. In Mississippi, the Mississippi Band of Choctaw Indians are presenting Veterans Day Powwow. That's on November 10th and 11th. If you're in that part of the country, please attend. Veterans Go Free, and it's being held at the Pearl Indian River Reservation. That's Highway 16, 5 miles west of Philadelphia, Mississippi. We hope that you can make it. On today's program, we travel to Prince William Sound, to the beautiful site of Nuchek, once an old village and now a present-day spirit camp. We travel to Russia, to Chukotka. We also travel to Northway, Alaska for a potlatch for the late Ronald Sam, all that plus much more. But first, here's Gary Fife with Native News across the nation.
This is Native News across the nation. I'm Gary Fife. As the issue of oil development in the Arctic heats up, natives who depend on the caribou herds of the region are telling congressional leaders they're still opposed to drilling in the area. During a visit by Alaska U.S. Senator Frank Murkowski, Gwich'in Athabascan leaders heard of his plans to try and mitigate any impacts of oil drilling in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. He also suggested they visit other Alaska native villages, such as Kaktovik, where development has taken place with native support, to see for themselves what has happened since. The senator visited 2 communities, Arctic Village and Venati, to hear what villagers had to say about the push to open ANWR. Gwich'in spokesperson Sarah James has been steadfast in stating that their peoples will continue to oppose the drilling, and they do not want any activity in the core calving grounds of the porcupine caribou herd. They say that could make the caribou move farther away from the village hunters. The most recent U.S. Census has problems of accuracy in its count of Native Americans, many say. Reservation population numbers have sometimes been wrong, and for natives who live in urban areas, it's even harder to come by accurate information. But a group of kids in Milwaukee, Wisconsin are taking on a citywide native census of their own. The group, called the Strength of Nations Project, is trying to survey Native families and learn from them just how many natives live in their city. In addition to collecting accurate numbers, the project is distributing information on voter registration and native businesses in the city. The activist American Indian Movement has scheduled its 27th anniversary international conference this weekend. The grassroots organization will be busy with some housekeeping chores, such as convening its governing council, recognizing official state chapters, and seating of state coordinators. This has come after the Native activist group has been racked with internal disputes, leading to a defection of some past leaders and chapters to a new autonomous AIM organization.
And incarcerated?
I was arrested because of our leadership. Russell Means and I went to trial on the because of the actions at Wounded Knee, and the government charged us with 16 crimes, 16 indictments. And we were on trial for 9 months, a 9-month trial. The incident itself was only 71 days. It was a little over 3 months. But the trial was 9 months because the government was so vindictive, and they wanted to try us for everything that they could lay before the grand jury system in South Dakota, which is...
The 27th annual meeting is taking place at Fort Snelling Park in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area of Minnesota. The Information Superhighway has its routes that include Native American stops. An informal search by the editor of a federal Native newsletter reports that there were 187 separate listings for Native Americans on the Internet. Those listings include more traditional Native groups, such as the Pueblo Cultural Center, to newer listings, such as the Native Net Information Network. If you find the computer network a bit imposing and scary, you may contact the Native American Connection in Hampton, Virginia. The Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma has worked out a plan with local law enforcement officials to help each other out. Choctaw tribal police and officers from 9 local departments have been cross-deputized in order to support one another. The tribe is in the process of working out the same with all other Oklahoma governmental authorities whose boundaries come together with Choctaw lands. And finally, a traditional Scottish clan leader has written to a Native American newspaper pledging their clan's support for the repatriation of Native artifacts. In a letter to Indian Country Today, Seoris Wallace, clan chief of the Wallace in Scotland, wrote that they themselves were trying to preserve their own ancient clan heritage and understood the Native perspective on the issue. He continued, proposing an international artifact repatriation movement, and, quote, "As an ancient clan of Scotland, we feel we have a hereditary duty to do these things." If you have news, information, or newsletters about your tribe or group, please put us on your mailing list. We're always continuing to try to expand our coverage of Native America. And we'd like to wish a very happy birthday to our producer here, Jeannie Green. For Native News Across the Nation, I'm Gary Fife. Happy birthday, Jeannie.
Happy birthday, baby. Oh, I love you so. 16 candles make a lovely light, but not as bright as your eyes tonight.
In the United States, someone is injured in a crash every 10 seconds.
Speeding.
Each year, hundreds of thousands of people are critically injured. Many become disabled for life. Many die. The costs are devastating. I know, because I'm an emergency physician at a trauma center. Every day I see needless suffering and injury from traffic crashes caused by driving too fast. Don't fool yourself. Speed shatters life.
Let's travel now to Northway, Alaska. They held a potlatch recently for the late Ronald Sam. He was a beloved person and an inspiring one. Ronald Sam was an avid hunter and fisherman. He loved anything that had to do with the outdoors until his auto accident in 1980, which left him paralyzed. He became actively involved in making life easier for other disabled people throughout the state and the nation. Although this Athabascan man was physically disabled, his heart and soul were well and active. He inspired other disabled Americans to live life fully, and even in his passing, he gave hope, as was demonstrated in a poem written by him and printed on the back of the Potlatch program. The title is For God's Faithful Shut-ins. Thy world is beautiful today, O Lord, as I lie and look outside. But deep within there's a hurting, and the tears are hard to find. For as I lie here, I wonder, doesn't my Savior care? Doesn't he know of the heartache and the pain I have to bear? Then God whispers, oh, so sweet, yes, my child, I know and care. For in my infinite wisdom, in love, I have placed you there. There are so few who could be trusted with the job I have given you, to lie in pain year after year and still be faithful and true. Why, my child, there's many a Christian who's walked with me through the years, who stand amazed at your fortitude and plead for you through their tears. And though you long for such passions to walk through this world straight and tall and do something great for your master, this might not be for you at all. So be patient a little longer, and someday you'll see. Though the path I have chosen for you was rough, you were where I wanted you to be. And when we're together in glory, you'll look back on all this and smile. When you learn of the hearts you have lifted, you'll know it's all been worthwhile. By Ronald Sam. Thank you, Shirley Jimerson, for the video from Northway, Alaska. Let's travel now to Russia, our neighbor here in Alaska.
Same one?
Yeah.